Bam Adebayo has quieted many critics across the league with his play to start the season. It's still early, but it does appear as if Bam has made that final leap on the offensive end of the floor to emerge as an all-around NBA superstar, answering many of the questions surrounding his game offensively. By being more aggressive and successfully developing a three-point shot, there are very few holes in Bam's two-way game with the way he's playing of late. Not only is Bam one of the best and most versatile defensive players in the game, but it also appears that he's beginning to emerge as a dominant offensive player, too. Averaging 22 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists per game, Bam is racing off to a career-best start to the year. The real difference for Bam this season is his overall aggressiveness. It's what has begun to set him apart from the rest of the offensive players at his position. Heading into the Heat's game against the Denver Nuggets, Bam is leading all centers in the league in three-point makes. He's averaging a little more than 2 made per game and is shooting them at a strong 36% clip. It's one of the bigger jumps that we've seen from any players at the position this season. It's not just the percentage, but the volume at which Bam is operating. If there's one clear adjustment that Bam has made to his game, it's that he's been much more aggressive in shooting the ball. So far, the success has been evident. Another sign, aside from three-point makes, that Bam is being more aggressive this season than in years past is the simple fact that he's attempting roughly 3 more shot attempts per game. There have been times in the past when Heat fans have just wanted Bam to be more aggressive and selfish with the ball in his hands. He's doing that so far this season, and it's hard to argue with the results. The real test for Bam Adebayo. Of course, the real litmus test for Bam will come once Tyler Herro returns to the lineup. At that point, will his volume go back down? Will he become less aggressive and decide to play off Herro more? Erik Spoelstra's new offense doesn't really lend itself to Bam playing off Herro anymore, but it will be interesting to watch it all unfold. If the Heat are going to be the surprise team over the course of the entire season that they've been through the first couple of weeks, they're going to need Bam to keep playing at this aggressively high level. That's why the next few weeks will be increasingly telling. With Herro's return roughly 2 weeks away, all eyes will continue to be squarely on Bam. He's had a great start to this season. The question is, can he continue to silence his doubters and keep this aggressive level of play up for the entire year? Because if he can, it will completely alter the conversation surrounding his label as a star player in the league. Kasparas Jushion appears primed to make his Miami Heat regular season debut. Jushion has a real shot to make his debut Wednesday night against the Denver Nuggets after he was upgraded to questionable on the injury report. Of note, Norman Powell was upgraded to questionable before he made his return to the Heat's lineup against the LA Clippers. With the way the Heat operates, there's at least a fair chance that the decision to upgrade Jushion on the injury report suggests he could be inching closer to his debut. Jushion has been battling a groin injury since the end of the preseason. He only ended up playing 1 full exhibition game for the Heat before he left 4 minutes into his second appearance. Jushion left a lasting impression during his 1 preseason performance, finishing with 8 points and 10 assists in 25 minutes. It'd be shocking if Jushion gets that much run during his debut for the team, but it will be interesting to see what type of initial role he may have with the team. The Heat need to let Kasparas Jushion run. And in the Heat's new fast-paced offense, there's reason to believe that Jushion could truly thrive. Without a true, natural backup point guard on the roster, there's a clear role that Jushion could end up filling. While Davion Mitchell has done a tremendous job emerging as the team's primary playmaker on the offensive end of the floor, Jushion could certainly help free him up on that end of the floor. Jushion is probably the best natural playmaker on the roster, and the Heat need to let him run. Even if it is just 10 to 15 minutes per game, it would be wise for the Heat to see what exactly they have in Jushion. He's far from a finished product, but if the Summer League and preseason were any indication, Jushion does have a skill set that would benefit this offense. And we could be inching closer and closer to getting the first look at Jushion in a Heat uniform. I still have my doubts about whether this spot on Wednesday night against the Nuggets is the ideal moment to give Jushion the green light, but I suppose if the Rook is ready, he's ready. That said, it wouldn't be all that surprising if we saw the Heat hold off on his debut until they get back to Miami later this week. Either way, help is certainly on the way. And the Heat is preparing to unleash Jushion. Empowered both by dramatic improvement from the three-point arc and some of the best defense in the business, Bam Adebayo appeared on course to reclaim his spot among the NBA stars. Hopefully, things didn't just veer off the track. The big fella exited Miami's 122-112 loss in Denver early on Wednesday, hurting his left foot in the first quarter. Always a worrisome injury with bigs, and never returning. There's no word yet on the severity of the injury, leaving the entire Heat Nation to sweat out the results of an MRI. Miami will collectively keep its fingers crossed, because as much as its new egalitarian approach on offense has empowered the full range of this roster, Adebayo is the Lebowskian rug that ties everything together. The Heat aren't equipped to withstand a lengthy absence from Adebayo. With all due respect to Tyler Herro's all-star ascension last season, Norman Powell's smooth transition to the team, and the resurgent effort of Jamie Jaquez Jr., no one has come close to dethroning Adebayo as the clear centerpiece of this organization. His all-purpose versatility on defense is nearly unrivaled around the association. His offensive abilities are such that he routinely averages around 20 points per contest, and that's not seen as his better end of the floor. He can create on the move, handle in transition, and send opponents into viral infamy at the rim. He's also the resident caretaker of #Heat culture, which is kind of a big deal around these parts. Simply put, Miami isn't built to get by without him. And that'd be true even if frontcourt depth wasn't a pressing concern for this club, an issue worsened by Nikola Jovic's failure to launch and Kelly Oure's consistent battle with inconsistency. It also doesn't help that the upcoming schedule is giving gauntlet vibes. Following a back-to-back home set with the Hornets and Trail Blazers this weekend, the Heat will tussle twice in a row with both the Cavaliers and Knicks before facing Jimmy Butler's Warriors and a Bulls team off to a scorching and shocking best-in-conference 6-1 start. The road ahead is perilously lined with potential pitfalls. This would be tricky to navigate even with a healthy Adebayo and a healthy Herro for that matter. Without him, though, it's the kind of stretch that could send this squad into a spiral that defines the entire season. Miami has been mostly competitive to this point, but it also hasn't created any kind of cushion for itself. One prolonged skit could leave the Heat looking up at a lot of folks in an Eastern Conference featuring 8 other teams with .500 or better win rates. So, keep those fingers crossed, those good luck charms within arm's reach, and those knocks on wood coming. The Heat need all of the good vibes and well wishes they can get because an extended absence for Adebayo could be a season spoiler.